Let's talk Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. My husband and I recently spent 4 days and 3 nights there for a low-key getaway, and here's a little recap of how we spent our time. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I like to be out and about, and even though we primarily booked this trip for rest, romance, and relaxation, we had to do some exploring, especially because it was Tony's first time to the island. We stayed in the Cap Cana neighborhood, specifically at the Cap Cana Marina at the Hotel Casa Cap Cana by Faranda Boutique Hotel. Try saying that 3 times fast. Incredibly long name aside, this is a very charming hotel that we thoroughly enjoyed. I did a separate video with a full walkthrough that you can check out. I talked about the room, the concierge, the service, the Dominican breakfast. We had a really good time and especially loved that rooftop. Now the courtyard opened right up into the marina, which is a very scenic, picturesque place, and you know I had to get my little photo ops in where I could. And the thing about the marina, if you wanted to, if you were just in town for a few days like we were and really wanted to keep a low profile, you could spend your entire stay at the marina. There's golf, there's a beach club, there's several restaurants, plenty to get into if you just wanted to stay behind the gates for a nice, quiet weekend. However, that's not what we do. We grabbed a local guide, which picked us up right at the marina and headed out for a couple of tours, one of which was a half-day cultural tour that was packed with activities. We started off with a little horseback riding, which was interesting. The horses looked so tired, but it was a really nice experience. Then we visited an open air market where we people watched, peeped the scene on a gangsta lean, picked up a few things, hollered at the Spice Man, and also wandered into a few local stores where they plied us with Mama Juana. You will not escape the Dominican Republic without sipping it, so just accept it and move on with your life. Next, we headed to the town of Igwe to see their historic cathedral, to the countryside for a walkthrough of a traditional Dominican home. The residents were incredibly gracious, and that was followed by a short lecture about the cacao bean and its significance in the region as it relates to producing coffee and chocolate, and we were able to experience a few samples, which was very nice. Next, we had lunch on the Anamuya River. We stopped by a cigar factory. Now, I'm not a smoker, but I kind of like the smell of cigars for some strange reason, so that was pretty cool. And then we headed to Montaña Redonda. We spent about a half day there, and it was just gorgeous, worth it for the views alone. I also did a recap on this place that you can check out separately as well. And after all of that, despite the intermittent rain that fell throughout our trip, we still tried to sneak in some beach time when the sun permitted. We went to Playa Esmeralda, which was lovely but quite empty, so we had it just about to ourselves. And we also hit up Playa Macao. A little more pedestrian, a little more lively and active with people, but still beautiful nonetheless. Then we were pretty much near the end of our trip and decided to spend our last full afternoon at the Api Beach Club back at the marina. We got some good food and took in our last looks at Punta Cana before preparing to head home. For more info about what to do and what to see in Punta Cana, head over to my blog at Sheree-Monique.com and follow and subscribe for more art, life, love, and travel inspo. Happy travels!